Why do you think camp is important to these kids?
Uh, sure. I think camp is important because one of the things that I firmly believe is exposure is important. A lot of these kids haven't been exposed to a lot of things. Even just on the ride out here, a lot of them were just talking about how, oh, look, a horse and look, a cow, and we're not even an hour away from where we came from. So I personally believe that's one of the biggest things to me is exposure gives you the opportunity to experience and desire more than you probably would have if you didn't know about it.
I really, I have to agree. I think exposure really is the big word here. Most kids who are coming to this camp, thanks to the Footpath Foundation, haven't, been outside a 5 mile radius from their home. They're used to the whole concrete jungle, the same thing over and over again, and a lot of times their neighborhoods, may or may not be pretty dangerous. So, and there's a lot of things that they're able to, participate here at camp, like archery and boating and ultimate frisbee that they just can't play in their own neighborhood safely, or a lot of things they just can't practice. So I feel like getting that exposure again, and being able to have new experiences that they can kind of take home, and also find new things that they may be good at that they won't be able to explore those kind of options back at home.
Yeah. Do you see things, or have they told you about things that were challenges to them, or they had never done before that now they have done?
I think probably 90% of the things they've done here so far, especially the archery, the boating, jumping on the trampoline in a lake, swimming in a lake, being around this many trees. I mean, there's a lot of things they just haven't done before. The other day they said that was the first time I throw a frisbee. So they've never laid their hands on a physical frisbee and threw it. So even the small things they really haven't had that opportunity to do it until they got in here.
And why do you think that's important? Like, I mean, it seems obvious, but why do you think it's important that they get to do something that they've never done before? What do you think it does for the child?
Roll with that.
I think it's important for them to do it because I don't want to run into the ground, but I just exposure. They're having the opportunity to do things that they may have never done before. And one of the things that's unique about this camp in particular, since we've been here, is just the people that have come internationally. So they've learned how to play touch footy, which is from Australia because they have an Australian leader. I've even witnessed some of the kids learning to speak Spanish with some of the Spain, the people from Spain, and those are things that they will not only be able to use later on in life or play with now, but even now that might spark someone's interest to learn Spanish and to have that as a language that they'll be willing to learn. I know for me personally, I learned Spanish. I started taking Spanish classes in the fourth grade, and it's something that's always intrigued me ever since I was exposed to it. So I think that is what's important is because they're learning things that they could use later on in life as well. Just with different like arts and crafts and the different team building exercises that we had, and them having to understand, okay, I can't do everything by myself, because in my opinion, especially in today's society, a lot of stuff is just about me, myself, and I, and you will never get far without having a strong team.
And just to springboard off of that, we have a lot of students that they play the same two sports in school. It's
Yeah.
basketball and football. And, we put some of them out there to do archery, bullseye after bullseye after bullseye. He had a natural talent. And I said, drop that basketball. You found your natural talent. This is naturally you. And another one, he had the best rhythm and the highest speed in the boating, riding a kayak, going crazy across the lake. And these were both people that were weak in the sports that they were exposed to so much back at their school. But once you get them exposed to something new that they never tried before, they find out they have that natural talent. They're just naturally good at it. And so if they never come to this camp and figured that out, they just constantly would have been doing something and just felt like they were like not efficient at it, or below average, instead of finding that everyone has something they're good at. And so some of the students that came here today found that thing that they're really good at. And I felt like that was something special for a lot of them, you know, hitting that bullseye and just seeing his face light up like, man, I'm really good at this. Like, I really need to come do this again. So that's probably one of the biggest things that they were exposed to today, or over these past couple of days, actually.
Hopefully that can springboard to their self-esteem and in other things too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, we had some, even with my camp, there's a couple young boys who are natural leaders. And when it came to figuring things out, they were really quick on figuring it out. And a lot of people just listened to them. And that helps, in my opinion, just like you said, that's something later on in life that they'll be able to use because they're just natural leaders. They're able to, and they're good at solving problems. And it was something that I don't even really think some of them even realized they were. Will was one of them.
Yeah.
Immediately, as soon as we were doing whatever we were doing, he just sat there, calculated it, and then riddled off whatever he thought was the best idea. And most of the people was like, all right. Like,
Hey, let's follow this guy. He's got to figure it out. So, and you know, another thing is, you know, with the self-esteem, we seen, you know, actually several dozen kids come out of their shells, you know, who were, you know, back in the classroom, you know, they're locked up, they don't want to talk to nobody, or they just sit on the computer. Here, you know, a few of our ladies that are older, that may have struggled with some self-esteem issues, you know, they connected with some of the counselors out here, and, you know, and they love nature. So they're out here learning different types of trees, picking leaves off, you know, looking at animals, cataloging amphibians, reptiles, mammals, birds, and they you know, they're learning this stuff and they're excited about this because these are wildlife that aren't available, you know, in the concrete jungle that is their home, like, you know, sitting in the middle of the city. You know, you're not going to see a blue heron out in the middle of, you know, on the west side of Cleveland. And so, you know, when we bring them out here to the country, you know, out here to this club, you know, they're exposed to these new animals, they're exposed to nature, and they found that one thing that they really do love. And a lot of them say, hey, well, you know, Mr. G, I found my thing. You know, I want to study this. I want to learn more about nature when we get back home. So we're teaching them more about nature when we get back home.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, guys.